Well, well, well. So it would appear that the Gilded Age of luxury and the money-making for the big brands is fading. That fading Gilded Age. Let's talk about what is going down literally in this video. Welcome to my channel, Super Dacob here. Today, I would like to ask you to push the subscription button and the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today, get access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, Super Dacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. Thank you to my members and patrons who have already pledged. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week, and you're all invited to join and partake in the fun. Whoop, whoop. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my co-chatters in the live chats. Cambridge News. Cambridge, not Cambridge. Not the university. But the Cambridge with a K. Cane, like the cane, the walker cane, but with a K, not with a C. I wonder if the Kardashians are part of this. Who knows? Anyway, the title reads, A Gilded Age is Fading for Luxury Brands. And of course, the conversation veers and steers towards the pension fund for Mr. Bernard Arnault, the owner or co-owner of the LVMH empire, darling. Now, go check out my other video, also available on my channel, where I talk about the third quarter earnings and stock revenue report for LVMH in 2023. Doom and gloom, baby. It seems like they're losing money. Well, they're still earning money, but they're losing it comparatively speaking to what their earnings were third quarter of last year and the years prior, when there was a boom in sales and money spending during the pandemic, as people were receiving those checks and we're not really traveling a lot or spending money for anything else but staying home, surfing the internet, and ordering stuff online. For the most part. Well, those days are over. Those were also the days when most luxury brands that were in the higher tier started upping their prices ginormously, earning a lot more money, thinking, hey, this is a profitable time. Why not use and abuse the system to get as much money as possible? Milk that cow, in other words, as long as you can and for whatever it's worth. Well, now they're a little bit upset about the fact that they're losing the money. Honey, they're losing the money, honey, because people are not spending as much as they used to. So we're at a position now where the end of easy money is what they used to call it. Yes, the luxury world itself used to call it the easy money, is catching up with luxury brands. It took a long time, several years, almost 5 actually, because it started right before the pandemic with those huge price hikes. So the skills needed to protect their profit margins may be a bit rusty. So the article claims that a lot of these brands are so spoiled rotten, all they got to do is keep upping their prices, but not really care about maintaining quality control, maintaining quality of purchasing raw materials that have higher qualities and standards. No, they didn't need to do all that. All they needed to do was double, triple, quintuple, tentuple their productions, and they did, to earn as much money as possible. In fact, it is fascinating to note that in this article, they also say that, yes, hundreds of percentages times over have many of these brands upped their production, expanded their factories, expanded the amount of raw materials purchased to manufacture these goods throughout these years of the pandemic, while their prices were skyrocketing. So shares in the world's biggest luxury company, LVMH, Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, fell 6% last week, Wednesday, after it reported a slowdown in sales for the third quarter the previous evening. Now, they grew sales by 9% for the 3 months through September, compared with a year ago. That sounds impressive, but the business was growing at almost double this pace in the second quarter. It's slowing down. It's half the speed now, less than half the speed. And most of the products of this particular conglomerate are collapsing in all major regions. 14% drop in sales at LVMH's wines and spirits divisions, okay? Shipments of cognac brands such as Hennessy have been weak, especially in the US. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Now, the sales by LVMH Business Group changes versus a year ago. I have here some of those like kind of like little tablets and little sketches that they make. And they are going in the minus, almost at minus 20% for wines and spirits. The fashion and leather goods is still major growth, specificity, minor growth, watches and jewelry. Those are the ones that are slowing down the most right after wines and spirits are watches and jewelry. Then perfumes and cosmetics. And then the best are fashion and leather goods. And then they have selective retailing, which can be a lot of different things. That is the highest earning factor at the moment. Selective retailing can also include what we've been talking about in my other videos, like for example, opening up restaurants, bars, spa resorts, or special lounges at airports, luxury airports like Doha Airport in Qatar, where Louis Vuitton opened up an entire lounge area at the airport itself. Stuff like that is growing because people favor experiences to products, or so it seems at the moment. Now, interesting that this article mentions that the slowdown is no longer limited to aspirational shoppers. And as aspirational, we understand what the luxury industry means: poverty. Okay, underneath the middle class, because middle class is dying out anyway. So it's like the person who cannot afford the big sale ticket item. So they're called aspirational. It's kind of like a nicer word to define poverty, in other words, which is also really, really ridiculous on their end. As the industry lingo frames less wealthy buyers. Article. Well, and you say it. Why can't you say it? Why don't you want to say it? Why do I have to read the slowdown is no longer limited to aspirational shoppers as the industry lingo frames less wealthy buyers? Less wealthy, aspirational. Call a spade a spade. Poverty. Poor. It's a word luxury does not want to pronounce ever because they live in denial that the poor cannot afford their shit. The poor can, and the poor that you've been milking for whatever they're worth have been supporting you, okay? And have been allowing you, Mr. Bernard Arnault, to walk to the bank grinning from ear to ear with your bucket loads of money and coins. So call a spade a spade. You're not even giving the minimum amount of respect, not even in this instance. You're milking that cow for whatever it's worth, and you still don't want to call it by its name. I find that despicable. There, you wanted an opinion, you got one. This really irks me, but it's just my opinion. So anyway, now, sales of LVMH's expensive watch and jewelry brands were weaker than analysts expected, and wealthy European consumers became much cautious in the third quarter. So even the Europeans don't care about LVMH anymore. Interesting. And they also say they were expecting Chinese clients to buy more. No, China stopped. They're like, yay, pandemic is over even in China. You're allowed to travel again, travel all around Europe, buy our stuff. The Chinese are like, nah, thank you. No, not interested. No, not interested. So all of these luxury brands are like, oh, damn, we lost the Chinese. Yeah, you did. You did it yourself. Yeah. IYKYK. And then recently the entire luxury industry has fallen out of fashion with shareholders who at the start of the year expected a bigger surge in Chinese demand after the country lifted all pandemic restrictions. And this is why a lot of people started selling their stock, and then Bernard Arnault started buying up the stock that they were selling. Burberry and Gucci owner Kering also has issues. Burberry and Gucci, Kering. The slump may be more severe at weaker rivals, so they've lost even more money apparently at the stock market than LVMH. Very, 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 very interesting. And here the article also says that due to demand of the product, like for example, last year, exceptionally strong sales helped these brands lift their prices by 8% on average, according to UBS estimates. Now, this pricing power has been a big draw for investors and boosted profit margins, but it's over for now, probably, they say. And they say you might think 8% is not a lot, but But here's the really interesting point. They said that 4 years ago, leading up to the pandemic, prices rose only 1.2%, not 8% a year. That's a big difference. Prices used to go up 1.2% a year. Then as the pandemic started, doing what it did, they could afford to up 8% a year and even more in some cases. This is an average, by the way. This is an average. And then there's this like one list that they're showing us here, the pre-pandemic and post-pandemic from 2016 to 2023, how the prices went up and down. And unfortunately, it's all green, and I'm using a green screen here, so I can't show you. But it basically was under 1% in 2016. It came close to 1% in 2017. By 2020, it jumped to 5%. Then it went down in 2021 to 3.5%. 2022 skyrocketed to 8%. And now in 2023, it's under 5% again. So it's slow, it's falling down. It's falling down. It's the end of an era for them. Not that they have any issues with it. They already have their billions saved in the bank. But interesting to note, we don't have to play these games anymore. We don't have to say, oh yeah, sure, I'll keep buying your bags even though now they're $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 more expensive. No, I don't think so. I don't think I will. Yeah, I don't think I will. I think you just got a little bit too greedy for my taste. And the audacity to still have the audacity to tell us to our faces, yeah, prices have gone up because raw materials cost more now, and we have to source more, and labor has become more expensive. Girl, if all of these things have become more expensive, your profits would not be that much higher. And you want, like Mr. Vadheimer brothers, $5 billion in dividends in 2021/2022, which one of the 2 years, I can't remember. That's after you've paid everyone. That's after you've paid out all of your workers, all of your raw materials and everything. And you're still left with $5 billion? You didn't have to pay more for your raw materials after all, did you? Otherwise, you would have spent that money upping your quality control, upping the quality of your leathers. Instead, no, you kept that money. You can't just keep money if you owe money to the people who sold you the good quality raw materials that you're telling us cost more now to make. If you paid the people more that are working for you, like you said, they're going to cost more to pay. Okay, after all that is said and done, you got $5 billion left over? Huh. And after you've paid taxes. Girl, I smell a rat. In the state of Denmark. And here's the funniest thing about all of this. Last month, LVMH, by the way, Bernard Arnault used to be the richest man in the world. He was kind of like fighting with Elon Musk. First him, then Elon, then him, then Elon. But he was definitely Bernard Arnault and LVMH, richest company and richest man of Europe, until last month. Guess who dethroned LVMH from their throne just a month ago? Dethroned as Europe's most valuable company. Guess by who? Novo Nordisk. You know who they are? The Danish pharmaceutical, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Not just Shakespearean, but here you go. We'll go. Holistic, everything's connected. The Danish pharmaceutical company behind the weight loss drug Ozempic. Ozempic has just become the richest drug of Europe. That pharmaceutical company is just earning more now than LVMH. Let that sink in for a second. But always drink your water, hydrate, and eat before you pop a pill. Everything I said in this video was for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything was alleged, just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thumb up this video and subscribe if you wish to see more. Love you loads. Take care. Bye. Mwah.